views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The Millionaire Imprint for Women. This empowering radio show is about imprinting wealth for women, inspiring women of all ages to heal their karmic debts, to transcend the shame of poverty consciousness that women have lived with for centuries. It's time for women, for you to have a new relationship with money, to be smart with your money, to invest, to save, and to watch your money grow as you build your new empire, leaving legacies that you're proud of. Join Marty, Michelle, and Kornelia Fridays from 1 to 2 on the Kornelia Stephanie Show at Transformation Talk Radio. Are you in?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. I am Marty Rogers, and I have the pleasure today of co-hosting Kornelia on her show, and I want you to join me in welcoming her. I'm really excited today because we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is also very, very near and dear to my heart. And the theme of today's show is Your Magnificence Meets Your Money. Welcome, Kornelia.
Yay. Thanks, Marty. It's so nice to have a co-host that actually, introduces you and is able to take the part that I usually play. So it's wonderful to be, to have that space because it makes me feel I don't have to do that other piece, the one that the one that you're doing today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So good. I wanted to give you that space to say hello and share that mutual excitement that I feel every time that I'm on this show.
Yeah.
So, the other thing is you have a well of multifaceted sage value advice. And I just want to give our listeners, some of them have been here for a while, some of them are new. I just want to give them a little bit of background on you. Is that okay?
Oh, perfect. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So you are Kornelia Stephanie, a spiritual teacher, master wealth coach who helps smart, successful women make peace with their inner financial, emotional history. That's powerful. And to be able to build their empires of wealth on foundations supported by emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being. You do this by helping your clients lay down new roots that are authentic to whom they are today while making peace with their past. Your clients become masters of their own new footprints, receiving structured support in setting goals and clarity on their core values and living in financial freedom.
Yes.
Thank you. That is like powerful and deep, and I have great reverence for that.
Yes, and this is it. I just love hearing that. I love hearing that spoken back about what it is that I do, because this is actually, really what we all want. And especially as women, as we're building our new foundations now, our new footprints, leaving legacies of love, building legacies of love that supports us in financial freedom, while at the same time, living in balance and letting go of everything that's no longer serving us. And at the same time, this is a big piece. And that is to bring the spiritual piece into the material.
Absolutely.
Because that has been a big piece where prior to the spiritual awakening, really, that our planet is on right now, that is really to bring our core values of integrity, of compassion, of love, of peace, of harmony, that into the root of the mother, into the root of our own inner mother and our own inner father, bringing that spiritual core essence there. And that had to be first.
Yes.
Right? Because we've been conditioned in our society, we've been conditioned to place more value on doing rather than being.
Yes.
And part of the what we've had to learn how to undo, and that is really to bring the being part into equal value. And the being part, that being part is the spiritual part. It's the mother energy. It's the allowing energy. It's the energy of ease.
Yes.
And it's the energy of freedom. So because we have to be able to bring that energy there, that equal value of the honor of the feminine.
I love that. And energy of ease and freedom. And I know there's several important reasons why you and I initially came together. And something that has truly awakened for me is the alignment of the emotional and spiritual and monetary piece. It's, when you're bringing this message, it's really important to acknowledge some of the things from our past that may not serve us into the present and beyond. So that is a very profound and deep, important piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I just want to say again, affirm again that the spiritual piece is absolutely in our integrity to be spiritual and to be wealthy.
I agree. Absolutely. Thank you for saying that.
Right? That's a fit.
Yes.
It does not fit to be spiritual and to be begging and to be broke and not to be able to take care of your needs, not to be able to feed the children, not to be able to support yourself and set up and live a lifestyle the way that you want to live it if you have a strong spiritual base, because it does not fit. Where in the old world, in our old conditioning, especially, lots of the religious teachings where, that money is the root of all evil, and that people felt so much shame by being, feeling good about money, I should say, feeling good about money. And the whole thing is that, that whole piece in religion where we're not supposed to feel pleasure. We're not supposed to experience pleasure and live the way that we want to live. And so that there's just so much that's attached to those energies that really have had to be cleared. And I just want to, again, bring the spiritual piece into it by saying, it is in our integrity to be spiritual, to be wealthy, and to marry the two.
I'm really glad that you brought that. We have spoken about this in the past, but you can never, not bring it back again for it to be a very wholesome reminder. And I know this is a topic that we could just keep on talking and talking. So for today's show, I have 3 questions that I'd like to pose to you, and maybe you could address them in however order you see best fit. But I will read them now.
Okay.
If that's okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Great.
Okay, great. So tell us. So the theme is your magnificence meets your money. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about this and the meaning behind it. So here's the first question. What do you feel has been the hardest part for women when it comes to shifting their financial reality? Mm-hmm. So that was number 1. And the next one is, how do we change our story when it comes to our finances when we already feel so exhausted now? So how do we change our story when it comes to our finances when we already may feel so exhausted right now? And number 3 is, what are some of the action steps we can take right now to begin 2019 wealthy and empowered?
Yeah, those are all beautiful questions. And I want to be able to tell you a story about what happened yesterday.
Okay.
What took place yesterday that made me bring awareness to a greater level of what we're all experiencing. That's probably going to answer the questions for you through that story. But certainly, we can look again when we're done to see if we answered all the questions, because I really want to be able to empower and inspire the women listeners today to see also what category they fit in. And that's going to be revealed a little bit later on in the show. So yesterday was a day like any other day. You know, you wake up in the morning and you get going and you are ready to go do what it is that you're doing and whatever it is that you're passionate about, or whichever way that you earn money and that you do your life, that the way that you sell your goods, the income stream that you have set up for yourself, whatever way that is, whether it's you're going to a job where you're earning a paycheck, or you're self-employed and you're an entrepreneur, or you have meetings set up and that's a stream of income. Who knows what it is? But for me, I'm a solo entrepreneur and I work from home. So my day usually starts pretty early in the morning. I have a strong spiritual practice that I do my journaling in the mornings and connect with my source self. And then after I do that, I either go for a run or I do yoga or what have you, some sort of an exercise, physical movement process that I can take my body through. And then after that, I begin, either working with clients, going to appointments, meetings, or creating things. So I had, of course, a deadline of things that needed to happen yesterday. And all of a sudden at a little bit before 10 o'clock yesterday morning, all of a sudden the power just shuts down. The power goes out and the town gets swept by this huge, huge windstorm. And the wind was like about 60 miles an hour coming through. And it was just, I don't watch the news.
Right.
So I didn't know of a storm coming in. I didn't know anything about it. But anyway, the power goes out. And generally, when the power goes out, you're thinking it's going to come right back on.
Right.
Right. Or at least you're hoping it's going to come right back on. It's like, okay, and it just so happened I hadn't even taken my shower yet. I was right away. I was working. I started working and it was like, okay, I'm going to take my shower, then I'll go. And it was that kind of a thing. So the power goes out and it was like an hour later, it wasn't coming on. It didn't come back. And then you're looking at your devices. You're looking at your phone and you're looking at your computer and you're going, nothing's charged. Everything is and so my business really is all online. I do so much business online and I have my meetings, my appointments, and I do the radio podcast. I do so many different things online. So it was like, okay, things are not charged and then the power is going to come back on. And so it was so interesting because the wind and the howling of the wind went on for like hours. So this went on for hours. So there was a huge, huge storm. And now it's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And it is still going strong. We don't know when the power is going to come back. And so now I'm starting to just settle in and go, okay. Also, communicating with other people in town that, this storm really affected all of the county and that there lots of people were without their power yesterday. And
absolutely.
So many people, trees falling down not really, there wasn't really any clarity on when the power is going to come back. So this storm was going on, which is, I'm making a point with the, being the calm in the midst of the storm, because through that, I was really finding myself really calm, even though this was happening on the outside, right? And so then I thought about, as you know, now it comes 3:00, and I decided, well, I need to get my phone charged. So I got in my car, and I'm driving around in my car in town to charge my phone. Wow. So I, charged the phone, and I noticed I'm driving downtown La Conner. The entire town is completely shut down. Everything is black, and like all the stores that normally would be visited with, Christmas holiday and people and stores and all that was completely shut down. There was no one in the streets. The grocery store, the bank, everything was completely dark, abandoned, if you will. And so what I'm realizing through that is that, wow, how, because it was bringing up a lot of feelings in me, and okay, what does the feminine do? We're right now also moving into this Cancer full moon, which is tomorrow. And what does one do when you can't earn your money? You can't make your money. Selling your hardware. What does one do? You're preoccupied with, when is it going to come back? When is it going? All these things are going through your mind, and you're thinking about plan A, plan B, plan C, all these different things. But nature is also trying to communicate something with you, and that is to allow. Right. Just surrender and allow.
Yes.
So, it was time now at 4:00 in the afternoon to pull the lanterns out, pull the candles out, and just let it be.
Yeah.
And let it be. And there were, so really it was an evening spent by the fireplace with the candles on, and the electronic devices were not really charged except for the phone. So then I sat there last evening with my journal. And that is when I realized, all the energies that were really coming up right now for the collective woman. There's so many women that are absolutely, absolutely, absolutely exhausted. Yes. From running, of always, doing. Yes. Doing. And there's a balance that needs to happen. And that is the balance of allowing the feminine to be. To just be. And Mother Nature is such a perfect example, when she has her storms and there's a fire or there's a flood or there's a windstorm like it was yesterday, and the wind sweeping everything away. It's really asking us to allow for whatever happens to happen and be, while we are at the same time then being that calm in the midst of the storm, to know that it's all going to be fine. And then to sit like I was sitting last night with the energy of looking at, okay, what can I do right now with this, with what is here? And so I did my process, the process that I do of clearing and releasing. So I was clearing the disappointments. I was clearing and letting go of the resentment and the anger that I actually couldn't go out and do something, that I had to balance that masculine energy in me to just be, and to be okay and beautiful with my feminine energy, and that is enough, and that is so magnificent and glorious, because we need the value of that also expressed and acknowledged and honored, right? Because we haven't, beings that we've always been conditioned by our society to value the doing part, the part of me that wanted to go out yesterday and stay committed to all my tasks and do everything that I needed to do. That part, which is understandable.
Yes.
But there was also that other part that just had to completely let go. And I'm so sensitive to emotion. I was feeling the anger in my kidneys. I was so angry that anger that was being released, because we hold the suppression, the emotional energy in our physical bodies. So I was feeling that energy in my kidneys of, I was angry. I was angry that I couldn't do what I wanted to do. So, just sitting here last night, disappointed, processing and releasing all this old energy, so that we can set this, we have this reset button now going on, and then we can just press the reset and completely start over.
Yes. I love that.
And completely start over because, we don't want to continue on doing the same thing we've been doing.
Right.
We don't want to keep doing that. We want to bring the value.
Yes.
The equal value of the feminine, to find that joy in being, to declare that joy in being, and to see the magnificence in that also. And that has so much value.
It does.
It's not honored yet. It's not happening yet outside because everyone is still chasing and doing and doing and doing. It happened in my reality and my experience, but only because I sat down and brought what's the symbolic meaning behind all of this? What does all of this mean? This is part of my process and my ascension insights, that I share, because we're moving into a higher vibrational way of living and being, and we have to bring the value of the feminine.
We do.
Right?
Absolutely.
We have to bring the value. And so it was interesting. So last night, I'm doing my process. I'm clearing, I'm releasing, I'm letting go of all of this. And I didn't know if I was going to do this broadcast today. I didn't know if the show was going to be today. And I thought, well, we can always do a encore presentation from something else, doing something else. And I would be, of course I would be okay with that. So, but to really be able to sit with not earning any money, not selling any wares, not communicating with anyone, to completely be sitting during the winter solstice on the darkest day of the year, and to sit with all of that while the wind is outside blowing away all this amazing, debris, and to be okay with that. And so that was the lesson. It was a really beautiful process of feminine allowing. And so I just want to say to you that if you find yourself at any point on any given day, at any time, to be a witness to nature's expression, where you feel like you have no control and you have no power, to surrender and allow to happen whatever is going to happen, while at the same time bringing your peace, to be the peace in the midst of the storm, to be the calm in the midst of the storm.
Absolutely.
Right? And then from that place, to really see the magnificent being that you are, that we all are, because we are absolutely superhumans. We are superhuman to be able to do all of the things that we want to do, all the things we've had to endure, and especially, and I'm not saying the men haven't had to endure, but specifically today, speaking of the feminine. The feminine that has been literally beaten around from having to do so many things on her own, while still at the same time being invited to be in her feminine. And because we know that the men, the masculine energy, they want us to be in our feminine. They
Absolutely.
want us to be in our feminine power, and they want us to stand in our strength. But if we don't make room for that in our own lives, to really embrace our own inner feminine, and to bring that balanced expression there, so that you can feel more aligned and more magnetic, because again, the feminine emotion is magnetic, and it's the feminine is the allowing, the masculine is the doing, and the feminine is the being. And in order for you to be able to attract to you, and really attract to you the abundance, the prosperity, the relationships, all of the beautiful, the opportunities, everything that it is that you're looking to attract, you do that from a place of magnetics, from a place of your water, your emotion that you're holding within your physicality. And if that is feeling good, and feeling honored and realized as the magnificent, amazing being that you are, then you can attract to you all the wonderful things that you're desiring to manifest in your life.
That is profound. It just makes me think of the times when I personally have reached for the doingness, that where it's not fundamentally negative or bad, but when it's blocking out that energy flow of allowing, it kind of just crisscrosses the wiring, you could say, and it doesn't really allow people in and give people the full perspective of the value and courageousness and capacity that's truly there to serve. So what you're saying, I think, is going to resonate on a lot of women today. And thank you for bringing that. You bring it in a beautiful way.
It's part of the, first of all, it's part of the Millionaire Imprint. You know, in order for you to, whether you want to be a millionaire or whether you want to be wealthy and you want to live in financial freedom, you have to be able to be in your allowance. You have to be able to be in your feminine power. You have to be able to be in your magnetic joy, to find the value in the joy of being, and equal value to that. You have to be able to do that. And I know we're getting ready to go to break, Marty, but before we go to break, I want to tell you all about once I had this dream where I saw myself in a cave, and I was walking and I saw myself. It was a black cave and there was water, and I was carrying this. I had this bar over my shoulders, and there was a bucket of weight here, and there was a bucket of weight here, and I was carrying it, and I was, carrying this bar of weight. And so I'm looking at myself and I'm going, drop the weight.
Right.
And I wasn't listening. Mm. And I said, drop the weight.
Wow.
And I wasn't listening. I kept walking. I mean, I had to scream at myself in this dream to drop the weight. Wow. And finally, one bucket fell and the next bucket fell, and then the bar fell, and it was like, drop it. Mm-hmm. And I dropped it. And then I went to my knees, and this was all in my dream. And so.
And don't pick it back up.
Don't pick it back up. Exactly.
Wow. I feel that. I could feel that visual in my mind and physically.
And so many women are carrying around the weight of the world on their shoulders. And that's part of releasing that old masculine energy of doing, and bringing more of the feminine magnificence into your home, into your household, into your expression. So I wanted to be able to tell this story today in a way that it would inspire you, that if you feel like you're not getting it all done, and if you feel like you're chasing the tail, and you feel like you're exhausted and overwhelmed and all of that, let go.
Yeah. Let
go and understand that it's time for you to press the reset button and start new. So we're going to take a break, right?
Okay. We're going to be taking a break. And thank you so much, Kornelia, and we'll see you in a few more minutes, and we will pick up where we left off. Thank you.
Conscious Confidence Radio, a timeless wisdom with Sarah Main. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio and join Sarah on an adventurous journey to the deeper level of meaning to move beyond today's world of constant change, confusion, and uncertainty beyond the shadow of fear. This hit show explores key concepts such as confidence, values, and attitude in a dynamic way. To learn more about Sarah and her work, visit sarahmain.com.
Demystifying the journey on From Here to There Radio with your host, Diane Garris. Tune in every third Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com as Diane helps you get from where you are now to the life you envision. Get ready to get unstuck and move forward. Every show features a new special segment, New Age Notes, demystifying hot metaphysical topics of the day. For more information or to work with Diane, visit DianeGarris.com.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
This is Debbie Pokornik with a moment for standing in your power. Self-control begins with noticing how different feelings present themselves in your body. When you're feeling sensitive, for example, your chin might quiver, tears might well up in your eyes, and your voice might catch in your throat. Anger, on the other hand, might appear as tension in your jaw, back, or arms, along with clenched fists, heat in the upper torso, scowling, and a strong desire to yell. The more aware you become of your body cues, the easier it will be to recognize when you're on the road to disaster. Choose the emotions that cause you problems, then start noticing and logging the body cues that come with them.
For information and to work with Debbie, visit empoweringnrg.com. That's empoweringnrg.com.
Like the branches of a tree, universal knowledge, insight, and wisdom must be weaved together to bring forward to others. If you live in the Western Washington area, you will want to make the trip to Auburn and visit the new Alchemy of the Goddesses Center. Now open and offering healing sessions, classes, crystals, books, oils, and more. Find out more about the center. Visit alchemyofthegoddesses.com. That's alchemyofthegoddesses.com.
And welcome back. After our break, we were speaking during the last few minutes, and I was imparting some insight on with Kornelia about the exhaustion from the doingness. And I kind of wanted to spend a minute or two here, Kornelia, because that's so important to transition our story from doingness and not allowing in the flow and the light of and the freedom of beingness and allowing. So let's talk a little bit more about that, because I find that in my experience, the exhaustion is something that can really kind of creep its way in and impact our spirituality, wellness, our physical wellness, and our happiness and joy. And that truly has a compounding effect, which is part of our topics these days as well. So let's talk a little bit about that, because it's good for women to maybe have a recap on that capacity to transition.
Yeah. If you have to ask yourself the question, look at your storyline. First of all, write a new story.
Yes.
Write a new story. Write out a paragraph about how you want to live your life. Right. I want to live in financial freedom. I want to live with ease and grace. I intend to live debt-free. My intention is, connection, traveling, community, stewardship. Write out your paragraph about what it is, what your story is, because we know what your story is today.
Right.
Hardworking, exhaustion. By the time you hit the couch in the evening time, you're sitting there for 10 minutes and you're out. And, these kinds of things.
Right.
You want quality of life. So I want you to write a new story, a paragraph on what your new story is. So that's first. Hit the reset button and say, I don't want to do this anymore. So when you're asking me, Marty, what is it that women can do instead of, not to feel so exhausted, is that we have to approach it from a different way. Yeah. First, if you're walking around and doing the same thing that you've been doing, like carrying the load, feeling like you have all these things, all this busyness that's keeping you so busy, so distracted from really meeting yourself, really taking care of, nurturing yourself and taking care of your physical body, keeping you busy, putting your own self last on the list, all these things, when you're not like asking yourself, somebody else's opinion is worth more than your opinion. When all those things take place, to really take a look at, hey, wait a minute now, I need to come up with a new strategy, and I want to approach these things from a new way. And so when you approach your life from a new way, the best way that I know how to do it is to release everything that is no longer serving you.
Right.
Everything. I release, I let go. Speak it out, say it out, whatever it is. Because I can tell you that whatever you speak out and release today, it's not going to be there tomorrow because you have already released it and let it go. It's important that you have a process. And it's also important that if you don't feel like you have the support that you want, get a coach. Get a coach.
Yes.
Hire a coach. We've got plenty of people that are here to support you. You know, Marty's here. She's available for coaching. She's offered on some of the other Millionaire Imprint shows. Her information. We'll share that with you in a little bit. But I also have a Wealthy Roots Women's Circle that I lead every 2 weeks, where we release together as a group, and then we anchor in the new light, the new foundation of what it is that we want to manifest together as a group. Because when women gather, when powerful women gather together, mountains move. It just is. But the thing is you have to be willing to drop the weight. And you
right.
say prior to how I was so resistant to letting it go. And I really invite you to take a look at, are you resisting? Are you resisting letting it go? Are you resisting letting go of having to do it all yourself? Having to do it all yourself. That's going to be a really key, important piece, is being able to identify what your habits are and make room in your life so that you can set up your foundation on a path that is supporting your integrity today.
That's wonderful. You know, I just reflect back, and there's times in my life, you know, I shared my story on a couple of your shows. The last 5 years have been very transitional for me. And by sheer, need, the necessity to drop it, to let things go, that's when we release it. And that's when we start to, for me anyway, I felt like buoyed up when I start to release the things as a, mom, parent, releasing the, some of the controls that I had internally as my expectations, and releasing it, and how that makes so much more space for myself and friendship with other people, attracting true, wholesome friends that really nourish my inner truth, and vice versa. So there's a real gift in that. And you start to see possibilities, and people start to see you in a light, saying, I'd like to connect you with Kornelia, let's say. It's like, oh my goodness, and then we think this happened too easily. But no, this happened when you allowed yourself to experience that energetic freedom and energetic permission and lightness. So
absolutely. You have to be willing to, let the goodness, let the goodness in your life take over, because we're also so used to having it so hard, carrying the world of the weight on our shoulders. And we don't need to do that anymore. We can release the resistance and let go. I was working with a client the other day, and she was telling me, she goes, you know what? She goes, I'm resisting. I'm really resisting. And she says, how do I move past this? How do I move past the resistance? And I gave her my mantra that I use that says, I resist nothing. I resist nothing. I resist nothing. If you use that mantra, I resist nothing, the walls come down. And even your own walls that you put up there for protection to keep yourself safe, in dangerous situations, that was okay at that time, but it's not anymore. Right now, really, there is no reason to resist the goodness, the flow, the ease, the abundance. And part of what I wanted to do with this segment today is when you're writing your new story, introduce yourself, your magnificent self, your amazing self, your joy, your center of being, your allowing self to money in a new way. Where before you had a relationship with money that was part of the old story, that was part of the old limiting beliefs that carried a lot of debt, it carried a lot of weight, it carried a lot of responsibility, a lot of heaviness, and it carried a lot of shame, and it carried a lot of things. In this new way, introduce yourself. Hi, I'm magnificent, and I know you're magnificent as money. And so I want a new, beautiful relationship with you. And I am dedicated and committed to building a strong foundation, a wealthy foundation that supports me living my life in financial freedom. Like, for instance, I've mentioned here on the show before that it's the Millionaire Imprint for Women. I created that show this year. The download came in February of 2018, and I didn't launch the show until I think it was September. And I'm not a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire yet. I'm a millionaire in creation.
Absolutely.
And so what that means is that I'm like the rags to riches story in the making. Right? So I'm literally sharing my authentic path, because there is many ways that we can achieve $1 million status. There's many ways. There's so many ways that we can do that. For me personally, and that's what I'm going to ask you here in a few minutes, what stage, where are you, the listener, where are you in your life right now, so that you can really take a look at where you are, and then that way you know where to begin. For me, where I am in my life already right now is I'm in the stage of I've created a structure for myself, a system for myself that is that's bringing in a flow of income, and that structure that I've created is $1 million structure. So there's a lot of people that can either they do it through insurance, they do it through all kinds of different streams. Right. And there's many ways you can save. There's many ways that you can do it. I've set up a structure for myself that within the next few years, I will be bringing in that kind of money because of what I've created and what I've laid down as a foundation and the streams. Do you realize that in order for you to bring in $1 million in 1 year, you have to earn $833,333.33 per month? That is how much you in order to bring in $1 million a year. And so to really look at what kind of structure you're creating, what kind of lifestyle you want to live, what it is that you want to do, it's important that you empower yourself with the choice of what it is that you want. So the Millionaire Imprint was created. Originally, we rolled out the co-hosts and we were talking about clearing the shame around our ancestral history of money that we've all had to deal with, right? That women and our humanities had to deal with for centuries. And now we're in season 2 of the Millionaire Imprint. And now what we're doing here now is we are now bringing the second seasoned educators on, and they're teaching us how to grow our money, how to invest our money, what to do with our money. And so one of the new co-hosts that you're going to meet next week is Michelle Boss and Marty Rogers. She's one of our other co-hosts. And so Marty comes on the first Friday. Michelle Boss is the last Friday, and I'm in the middle. And so I'm always going to be bringing the systems of what it is that I'm creating to offer people that want to jump on that to be able to create financial wealth in their life. And then we have Marty's ways and we have Michelle's ways. So Michelle created a structure. She sent me this the other day, and I thought this was really great to bring to the listeners today to ask, where is it and what stage are you in? Because a lot of people feel overwhelmed. They don't know where to start. They don't know where to begin, right? So where to start? Are you in a place? Have you already created your budget? Are you already tracking your money? Are you already tracking your spending? Are you in a process of creating cash flow systems? Are you in that space? Are you in a space of already paying off debt, building your credit, saving, building a financial foundation? And both Michelle and Marty are going to be teaching us ways that insurance can be our bank. Selling insurance, investing in insurance, that can be our bank. So we're going to learn about that. And then also building a net worth, investing and creating passive income. So those are the ways. And put the Millionaire Imprint on your calendar every Friday, because we're going to be bringing you all of the ways that are going to support you to build a wealthy foundation, because we're so dedicated and committed to this process. Right, Marty?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely putting the light on those areas where you could protect and leverage, the resources you already have, and implementing ways to continually bolster that consistent high level cash flow.
Absolutely. Because that time is now, because it's our time to really live wealthy, and not from a place of hoarding and consuming.
Exactly.
Not from that place. That's the place that we're letting go, from this new place of, really being able to, having money and having the freedom to live and travel and do the things you want to live. I want to be a millionaire because I love luxury, and I also want to be able to give the way I want to give. I want to give to grassroots projects that I'm passionate about. I want to support. I have a nonprofit organization that I want to build, and so I'm moving into going from being able to take my business into a profit, right? Into a nonprofit, right?
Wonderful. I love that. And, what you said is so important. I'll just kind of rephrase that. You said, I like to live a life of luxury. I like to give to other people, and to really embrace and put our minds around like what that is the value of that, and the necessity of money to support and sustain that, is high. And it's in order to sustain our message, our intent, and the longevity mindset that we talk about requires money. And for money to flow in and be working for us consistently is the way to make it happen. So this is an area I'm very excited about bringing on in like the very near future, like you talk about.
I mean, can you imagine? See, you feel the energy. Can you imagine, women really, having, like before, the stories we've told, we didn't have enough money to feed the children. We didn't have enough money to pay the bills. We didn't have enough money to start our businesses. We had to borrow money. We had to, carry this weight, this debt. And now imagine we don't have to do that anymore. That's why it's important that we come together, support each other, get a coach, jump on the Millionaire Imprint. There's a lot of tools that we're offering here for free. You can email me at radio@korneliastephanie.com. I want to offer you two things. One, you can get my ebook that I wrote on how to heal your relationship and your limiting beliefs around money. If you're still in that stage where you haven't changed your relationship with money, I will give you that. I have a PDF for you that is going to have all the Millionaire Imprint shows on one PDF, and that you can just kind of click through and watch all of that, because there were so many tools and techniques shared by Susan, Samantha, and Momo over the last couple months. And then put the Millionaire Imprint on your radar, so that from now until the end of February, that you stay with us and you grow with us as we speak this new way, this new support into our roots, into our foundations, so that we can build our new earth wealthy roots. And join my Wealthy Roots Women's Circle right now. That circle is $396 a year. And the value of that is immense, because you meet with me personally twice a month. And that's for 2 hours. So right now, your call to action is jump on that, because every month here on out, I'm going to raise the price by $100 each month, because I know it is way below what the value is of what's there. Because when we work together as a group, so much changes and so much quickly, and you really receive the activations and everything that's there, how we support each other. The other thing, and you can find out more about that by going to KorneliaStephanie.com and looking, there's a box on the homepage that says Wealthy Roots. Click on that, and has all the information there. The other thing is text the word Kornelia to the number 22828, and you're going to receive my newsletter. And in my newsletter, that goes out every single week. And there's always so many tools and gifts and processes that are shared, stories from the podcasts that we have here on the Millionaire Imprint, and then also on the other shows that I do, Heaven on Earth, and it's all about energy. So there's just so much support for you in your creating your new financial life, your new blueprint, so that you can live wealthy the way that you want to live it. Whether you want to be, that's going to say #MillionaireMeToo, or you want to just be, earning your first $100,000 in 2019, whatever that is for you. We have the support. We have the educators that are here to help you do that. And what else? Did we cover all the questions, Marty?
Yeah, my third question was, what are some of the action steps we can take right now? And that is rewriting our declaration, our story. Yeah. And, the beauty of this is that you can let go of the heaviness, the baggage that, we were holding on to, and quickly forget that we were even dealing with those adversities when we get into that energetic light. And like you said, 2019, 2020, what we're doing right now is the stepping stone to achieve that high level income for ourselves and each other.
And declare your feminine power.
Definitely.
I declare to live debt free. I declare to be financially in my freedom. I declare to be in the joy of my being, Make your declarations and really anchor them in and ground them in, because now is the time to be able to do this in this fertile ground that we are seeding right now at this most auspicious time. 2019 is going to be a very unpredictable year, because there's so many things that are changing. And it's so awesome when you have a tribe, when you have a community that you can lean into and know that you're supported and that we're rising together. And what we can do together is so much greater than we can do alone.
Yeah. And I'd love to invite everybody to my website. So I am going to be launching my first book in January 2019. So please, I invite you to my website, which is Financial Identity for Women. And I have a few more tweaks to add to the page. However, there's a space where you can add your contact info and you can be the first to receive my free ebook. And it's women's financial identity that sometimes can unknowingly, unintentionally kind of trip us up. So really empowering people through my own personal stories and the personal stories of other women who I've served and had the blessing to work with. So eye-opening for sure.
So part of, being in financial freedom, if you're an entrepreneur of any kind, or if you're working for a company and you need to be able to feel good about selling, you have to feel so good about selling, like what you're watching us do here about selling our services, selling our products. You have to be able to own it. You have to be able to sell it. You have to be able to shine it out, and you have to be able to feel good about it. Because if you don't feel good about it, if you wouldn't sign up for your own service, then how is anyone else going to sign up for it? So I hope that you have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much for tuning in and for listening to the Millionaire Imprint. Share this show with everyone so that we can all experience our wealth together and make this world a better place.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks so much for being part of creating wealth for all women. Every Friday, you benefit from the experience of women who share their financial wisdom. This movement is not about accumulating wealth. It's about being paid doing what we love, being able to invest in the things women are passionate about. Our new collective story is Women Are Powerful with Money. Becoming financially literate is the key to your empowerment and financial freedom. For more information, go to KorneliaStephanie.com.